Hello and welcome to this very special conversation. Today, we talk about the Mumbai Manifesto. As you know, it's election season. Again, one more time, 5 months ago, we all chose who will be governing us nationally, who will be making our national policies, who will be dealing with our issues at a national level. Now it's time for the citizens of Maharashtra to decide who will govern the state, who will look at their daily issues, their local issues, who will represent them, not in the parliament, but in the assembly. And so we decided, let's have a conversation about what the citizens want. At the end of the day, the idea is to get the voice of the citizens to the political parties, to those who may be forming the next government. They must know what we as the voter want. So Mumbai Manifesto is actually a Times of India initiative that they have launched. The idea is to get views, gather the demands of the Mumbai citizens, and then present them to the other side so our political parties know about it. Now, before we open up this conversation, let me introduce to you, we have a packed panel today. And I'm actually going to start with those who are sitting next to me. I have Sunil Nair, he's the resident editor of Times of India. And I also have Vaibhav, who's the deputy resident editor of Times of India. They've actually been leading this whole initiative and bringing all the voices and the points together. Today, we give more importance to the citizen voices, to the voters of the city of Mumbai before we go on to the political parties. So let's start with who's here. Naina Katpalia, she is a trustee of Nagar, which is a citizen group. And she speaks a lot about open spaces, apart from all the other issues, of course, that matter to us as a citizen. I have Meher Rajat. She's trustee, again, of the same group as Naina. Sitting right next to her is Tasneem Mehta, honorary director for the Bodaji Museum, managing trustee of Intac as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me also introduce Rahul Qadri, architect and an urban planner. And of course, we today have on our panel Mr. Subodh Kumar, former BMC commissioner. On the other side, let's also introduce our political representatives who will be listening and responding to what the citizens have to say. So let me start with Mr. Amin Patel, MLA from Mumbai Devi, representing, of course, the Congress party, Ashish Shelar of the BJP. Thank you so much for joining us. And Rahul Shewale, Lok Sabha member from the Mumbai South Central constituency. So 3 voices that everybody in Mumbai know, 3 big political representatives today here to listen to our voice. But Sunil, I want to start with you first. Tell us a bit about this initiative and what the idea really was.
So our campaign is essentially built on this assessment that political parties often do not talk as prominently or as often as they should about issues that actually matter to the ordinary Mumbaikar. When I say ordinary issues that matter to the Mumbaikar, I mean issues such as air pollution, for instance, the quality of air that we breathe, or the absence of open spaces, sufficient open spaces, or for instance, the decline of our cultural institutions, or even things like climate change. So, the point is that we thought it was high time that in the middle of a campaign, we need to bring this to the fore. We need to get people to participate and put together a charter of sorts, which we could then present to our parties. And whichever parties come to power, we present to them an agenda for action on behalf of the Mumbaikars. And say that, look, these are the issues that we feel Mumbaikars care most about. And, please do take these up in coming days. So that's the idea behind the campaign, essentially.
And what was very interesting is in the response that you got, in the manifestos that you actually got, a lot of themes that came out are actually themes that, even we discuss, often cover big issues for the citizens. Some of those themes then we decided we'll focus on today. So one overarching theme is development and how it often, gets into a standoff with protecting the environment. So the whole debate about development and environment, and I think in Mumbai we've had a lot of different issues and instances where this debate has often come, and the citizens have actually took on the government as well to say, no, listen to us, we don't think this is the right way to go about it. The other issue is about open spaces, and everybody knows how in a city like Mumbai, we all crave for open spaces. We all crave for green spaces, living in this concrete jungle. How do we go about it? How do we protect what we have? How do we create some more? And the third issue, of course, is that of a cultural identity. And how do we ensure that Mumbai continues to have a lot of cultural activity, that we revive our cultural identity and really go ahead with that. So these are the three things that we will speak about. Let me come to you, Rahul, first. And let's first talk about, what many say is a burning issue today, which is the development versus environment debate, not just for Mumbai, but many other cities. What's your own thought? What should the next government do?
Well, I think governments and the citizens want both. Everybody wants both. You want development and you want to protect the environment. There's nobody who says we want to degrade the environment. However, what's tending to happen, what's happened is a certain balance we're losing a little bit, where we're bulldozing development over the environment a little bit. That balance is being lost. And the debate should not be binary, that's either or. Either you want development or you want environment. No, we want both. We need both. As a city, we need both. So we have to find, as our Prime Minister says, smart ways of doing this. But what happens is that when the conversation stops, when people stop speaking to each other or stop listening, that there are better ways of doing this. For example, can I go into examples?
Yes, please.
Yeah, if you go into examples of transportation. Transportation, everybody wants to solve the problem. And all of us know that the government is doing an amazing job with some of the metros. Some of the decisions taken in the metro, Metro 3 being an underground line, is amazing. RA is a point aside, an aberration in that the entire plan. But that's going to bring so many more seats. It's going to bring 17 lakh more seats into the system a day. And in that same breath, we are saying 6 lakh cars are going to come off the roads. Parallel to this same thing is the coastal road plan, which we don't have the money for. The BMC doesn't have the money. So if you're, and it's being planned for 1 lakh commuters. Metro, 16 lakh, half the cost. Coastal road, 1 lakh, double the cost. And if 6 lakhs are going to come off, 6 lakh cars are going to come off the road, why do you even need the coastal road? There's just no point in it. So looking at transportation in a holistic way, how do we can never solve the traffic problem. Traffic problem, no country, no city has ever been able to solve. But you can solve transportation problem, which the government is doing extremely well, but they're not willing to wait for the metros to be complete to see. Our entire way we commute is going to change, completely going to change. So the focus really needs to be on integrated planning then. How do I get from my house to the bus stop? Is there a footpath? Is it there properly? From the bus stop, how do I get to the metro station? Do I have enough road space to be able to do that? And then I can commute very fast in the metro. That integrated planning, that conversation doesn't happen because everybody's in a silo. Your railways don't talk to the metro doesn't talk to the BST doesn't talk to the footpath. Okay. So nobody talks to each other. We need conversations with citizens, with experts together, and we can together solve everything.
So let's take some of the points that you've raised. So one obviously is that nobody is against development. We all want development, and it's not an either or. We need to save our environment, we need development. Is it then more about the right kind of planning? Are we not having enough conversation and listening to the experts to say, okay, maybe don't do it this way, but do it another way? Who would like to take that on first? Ashish, do you want to go first? Because this is a ongoing debate right now. It's not as if we're against the metro, but we also like RA.
Let me start with one thing that I must appreciate the kind of point has been put forward by my colleague. But I want to take you a little backward. Some years prior, maybe 5, 10 years prior, the issue was whether this country or this city will get a development or not. So the debate was development or no development. Now the debate has been changed from development or no development to development in which way. So this credit obviously comes to us. The second point which comes here is that this is nothing new for the worldwide scenario. I had gone to US in an international visitors leadership program in 2004 or 5. And I remember I visited the state called Indiana Police or something like that. And there one bridge was getting constructed between the two states on the river. And today we are discussing development versus environment. But actually I saw the discussion there called infrastructure development versus environmental protection. So worldwide this scenario is going on. So for Mumbai it is nothing new. Yes, there needs to be a dialogue. No, nobody says no dialogue. But at the same time, what do you mean by dialogue? That needs to be described properly. In given democratic system, if there is a set laws and procedures, we need to override it, no issue. We can do that. We need to override the rules, let's do that. But at every forum, the discussion at what level and how, if the system says that public notice should be given, if that public notice is not reached to the public, it needs to be debated. The reactions and the opinions comes from the people, it needs to be addressed. But my dear friend just mentioned that why coastal road is required when we have the metro, coming metro. The same question the Britishers must have thought when the tram was going on, why we required such a great CST station. That time what was the population of the city? There was no need to have such a big, huge CST station which would have the railway tracks, maybe 8-10 railway tracks, which is scattering the demand of 2019 also.
But our priorities and our costs are different today.
Of course, yes.
We can't compare it to
Of
what
course,
they
yes.
did.
You should not be always one side. We should listen both the sides.
Correct.
So let me complete my point. So we are discussing 2019, but we have to see 2099 also. So today what we feel is enough. May not be enough then. Now when we talk about Britishers doing such a great station, it's a good station. We say that, oh, what was the thought about the city? They thought about all angles. And when our government will think, then we'll raise the questions, which is rightly so. I'm not doubting to raise the questions about. So what I'm trying to say, the point is here, from developed or no development to development which way? And there, the communication between all the agencies needs to be there. I admit that point.
Okay, Mr. Chouale, but do you agree with that? Because at the end of the day, is this a long-term vision when you start building on your riverbeds, when you start cutting down trees? Because
now you
need
can't
to
say
cater...
so. The court order has come. Still you want to pursue that argument on the river beats and the plants and all.
Yes.
Today the court judgment has come.
Yes.
So let's not be only a bias about one angle. At least believe in the court.
Correct. So let me ask the Shiv Sena what their plan will be if you come to power. What is your plan going to be to ensure that development and environment go side by side? Of course we need spaces. Of course we need a public transport. Of course we need more buildings for people who are living here and proper homes and proper roads and a public transport system. But how will you ensure that it doesn't happen at the cost of our environment?
Yeah, public transport अगर improve करना है तो public transport and every development projects and environment ये दोनों related है. For example, coastal road अगर हम बनाते हैं तो city का जो भी noise pollution है, even pollution भी control हो सकता है क्योंकि all vehicles city के बाहर से जा सकते हैं and traffic का भी issue solve हो सकता है. तो development and public transport अगर improve करना है तो एनवायरनमेंट की जो भी रिक्वायरमेंट है वो फुलफिल करके ही पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट इंप्रूव करते हैं. इवन मेट्रो के भी जितने प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं उसको भी एनवायरनमेंट से रिलेटेड जो भी है सजेशन है वो इम्प्लीमेंट करके ही सब प्रोजेक्ट हम लोग इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हैं. तो एनवायरनमेंट को फॉलो, एनवायरनमेंट के रूल्स फॉलो करके ऑल पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट इंप्रूव करने का ही प्रयास मुंबई म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन एंड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कर रहे हैं.
Okay.
You know, all studies are showing that Bombay is among the most vulnerable cities to climate change. Sea levels are rising. They're saying Bombay and Chennai in India are the two cities which will sink the most.
We saw a result of that just last month.
We're also seeing intense rainfall in Bombay. So obviously this is a clear sign that if you build infrastructure along our waterfront, it is going to go under. This is going to happen all over the world.
Can I ask
So we cannot be so narrow-sighted and look at issues only in the near term. We have to, like he said, like Mr. Shelar said, we have to think of 2099. 2099 is, by then the sea levels would have risen by a meter. So,
I have one point to make about it. To Mr. Subodh Kumar is also here. He can also throw the light on the same. I'll tell you something. Again, I'm not trying to bring back the Britishers again and again. So don't misquote me. But the city level, what should be the plinth level of this city? That has been already described then by Britishers. I'm sorry, but trying to bring back again the facts, that's why I'm
But
quoting
Mr.
them.
Shelar, climate change is happening now. Britishers
I
didn't
think
know
your
about it
point
then.
is another point. What I'm trying to say, will you allow me to complete? Then you can make a point. Climate change is another issue. Your argument is contrary to yourself. At one place you are saying the plants has been decreased. Then why the rain is more? There is a direct correlation between the plants and the rain.
Are you saying because there are more
No,
forests
but
today, we are getting more rains?
That is a fact. Wherever there are trees and forestation, the rain is more.
Right.
That's a universal fact.
Okay.
And therefore, of course. So that's.
No, I think your understanding of climate change is very different.
I have to say.
And I think you're in denial if you believe that because we are putting more forests, we are getting more rain. We are cutting down our trees.
Then you should know that what is meant by carbon immersion. For climate change, then you should know about carbon immersion.
The climate that
And the carbon immersion is less by metro. Then you should support a metro. And carbon immersion is a part of a climate change.
Where will the metro take me when my home gets flooded tomorrow?
That's the point. You are having a contrary argument to yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's understand.
I'm
of
asking
course,
you,
yes.
where
You
will
can
this
ask
metro
anybody
take
whether
me
climate
when
change
my
has
home
a
gets
relation
flooded
with
tomorrow
the
because you've cut down
carbon
these
dioxide
trees,
or not.
rather
So
than
let's
finding
get
a
your fact
sensible
corrected
solution
and let me
to
allow
where
to
you
complete.
should put this metro
Let me allow to complete. Since your facts are not correct, I'm sorry. The
Please
climate
highlight where
change,
am I actually wrong?
Climate change goes with the carbon immersion also.
Yes.
Also, I'm saying.
Sure.
Not
No, but
only.
there is no denial.
And metros and integrated transport
we are not
railways
questioning the
are
metro.
But it's
reducing
not
the
this
carbon
versus
immersion.
that.
So that's what I'm trying to
But
say.
it's not this at the cost of
No,
that. That's
you are not
exactly
able to
the
listen.
point that our citizens
Looks
are
like you
making.
are already biased. You're not
No,
ready
I want
to
to
listen.
ask, I want
The
to
other fact, you're not trying to listen.
Okay, Mr. Subodh Kumar,
No,
do
I
you
want
want to... Yes, okay, go ahead, make your point, please.
Sorry, Mr. Kumar. I want to ask a related question, specifically to Rahul Sheware. The Shiv Sena has been seen to be particularly insistent on the coastal road project. Now, when you have a metro happening, why are you pushing so much for a coastal road project, which will increase carbon emissions? It will involve some amount of reclamation. Is this a case of political competition between the BJP and the Shiv Sena?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है.
Your ally?
No. ये पब्लिक रिलेटेड है ना, पब्लिक की रिक्वायरमेंट है. इसके बारे में सुबोध कुमार जी मुझसे ज़्यादा आपको रिप्लाई देंगे क्योंकि उनका ही इनिशिएटिव था. मैं जब स्टैंडिंग कमेटी चेयरमैन था और वो म्यूनसिपल कमिश्नर थे तभी उन्होंने
मैं मेंबर था स्टैंडिंग कमेटी का.
वो मेंबर थे तभी. तो सिटी की रिक्वायरमेंट है और जो प्रपोज डीपी भी सिटी की रिक्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से बना है. जो भी हेल्थ से रिलेटेड हो, एजुकेशन से रिलेटेड हो, ट्रैफिक से रिलेटेड हो, जो रिक्वायरमेंट है वो रिक्वायरमेंट लेके 2034 प्रपोज डीपी हम लोग ने बनाया. तो उसमें
So it had nothing to do with BJP taking credit for the metro project.
Cities.
Okay, but Mr. Subodh, do you want to come in here? Because like he said, you were part of that. Do you now believe maybe that let's see the impact of metro and how metro is decongesting our roads before we decide we need additional roads?
I think first I will like to react to what Qadri was saying. See, it's unfortunate the debate in India is development is versus climate.
Correct.
The topic itself says as if one is against the other. It is not. It's not one against the other. You can have development without harming the environment. Very much possible in India also. You take the case of metro itself. Now we are talking about the Metro 3. There are 9 metro lines which are trying to lay in Mumbai. Suppose we had planned only one metro straight away, not 9 phases, 1 phase. You can only one car shed for that. Suppose you join Metro 3 and Metro 6. So one car shed for Metro 6 will suffice for Metro 3 also. Again, if you are not able to join them, Metro 3 could be extended to any place, overground or underground, where you have the plot available with you. Need not go to RA. It's a phony debate to say we will not have metro unless there is a RA car shed. I think the compulsion of the metro rail organization was they have not been given enough funds for constructing Metro 3 without exploiting in commercial fashion the car shared land. We should get about 1,000 crores when they make a tall tower there actually. You can always get 1,000 crores from somewhere else. But the environment which you destroy, you cannot create that kind of environment again, I mean, that kind of forest again. Again, when I'm on the issue of environment, something should be inviolable. You should not violate them.
Right.
For example, wetlands in Maharashtra. Maharashtra is the perhaps only state, pardon my saying so, which has not yet notified the wetlands. The Supreme Court gave order in 15, gave in 17, gave deadline every time within 6 months. Goa has done it, others have done it, Madhya Pradesh has done it, not Maharashtra. Because we don't want to notify them so that we can fill them in some time, exploit them for this and that. This is slightly short-sighted. We don't have to do that. Coming to debate between metro and coastal road. It's very unfortunate. Even that time I talked to a large number of NGOs in Mumbai itself, about 70 of them. And they all said it's a correct plan for the simple reason. We talk about London. In London, the wonderful underground in London, one of the best in the world actually, is still about 75% journeys are performed through private transport.
Right.
When the incomes in any place rise, people are more aspirational. They want to have their personal transport in addition to a wonderful metro. It's not either or. And to say that metro is only for 1 lakh cars is not understanding the issue basically. Once the cars go from there, the internal, suppose you want to go from Worli to say Warsaw, you go from that road, so lots of internal traffic get diverted outside. Inside also, we should know that speed of travel is only 8 kilometers per hour. At that time, 10 years back, it must be worse now at the peak time. At that kind of speed, your pollution is highest actually. But it's roughly speed should be 88 kilometers per hour to have the least pollution from cars. So idea was to have metro as well as that. No, it's not either or. Again, even 10 years back,
Okay.
when the vehicles in Mumbai were maybe 1 million less from now, even then Mumbai was highly congested. So even if 60,000 vehicles you take away from the roads after metro, which you believe you will take,
Which you are hoping at this point.
may or
actually.
may not.
Yes.
6 lakh, fine, no problem. But you have added 1 million after that actually. So if I am saying even at 10 years back it was a highly congested place with lots of respiratory diseases, I analyzed the data from 2001 to 2010. There were about 60% increase in the respiratory disease in Mumbai in the last 7-8 years that time, 2011. So what we are talking, it's not a fancy project for the rich actually. Why should I cater to the rich? I don't live in Bombay. My children will not live in Bombay. They're living abroad actually. So it was for the citizens of Mumbai to make their life more comfortable, better health, better commute time.
Okay, so I take your time. There are arguments on both sides on the coastal road
better
project.
time with their family.
Yes.
They used to have 3 hours in one side on the traffic.
Yeah.
There's just one point, I accept your point that in the long term, this infrastructure will benefit the Mumbaikar, maybe improve the quality of air, make travel easier. But are we also making allowances for the fact that we need to create natural buffers against weather phenomena? For instance, our seas will rise, the rain will pour down on us. There is so much built up land that there is no space for that water to go. Every year on year, we are seeing that problem.
Instead of oceanography, I had a long discussion with them, the director. See, hard treatment of the coast is at many places in the world. Hard means like you have Marine Drive. It's a hard treatment of the coast. Create the least damage to the environment.
No, I agree with you, and that is the idea.
One minute,
of
one
Mr.
minute,
Subodh
one
Kumar.
minute.
But that's not what is happening.
1 minute.
Which is why year after year,
1 minute.
we are told that what can we do is just raining too much.
I think.
But we have to anticipate that it can rain too much, and we have to plan accordingly.
I think debate has to be informed one. As rightly said the datum. Now you are making coastal
She did not allow me to complete.
Coastal road. What prevents you from having the coastal road label a little higher?
Okay, is that? Do you agree? Do you agree? What is your plan if you are voted to
I
power?
would like to thank Times of India and Mirror now to take such a big initiative, Mumbai Manifesto. See, basically, my view is that we need a coastal road. Definitely, we need a coastal road. And it was our government, that time Mr. Subodh Kumar was the municipal commissioner, and we Prithviraj Chauhan decided to have a coastal road. It was a very at an initial stage. But my argument is that Rahul is my very good friend, Ashish, Rahul, and we all together from the corporation days. Mumbai is getting stepmotherly treatment because of all the things. There is environment, we have a problem. And I really appreciate you have taken three issues which are very important. Environment, cultural revival, and open spaces. When we are talking of this issue, basically the UMTA, where all the transportation will be connected, has to be brought immediately. That should be the priority. You know, somebody living from Daisar coming to Chhatrapati Shivaji terminus or taking another routes, that is a big problem. So BST, metro, mono, central, three railways, it has to be linked. When it is linked together, then the transportation will be easy. And this UMTA, what we are discussing, now we are discussing last, I think, 8-10 years, but it's not in place. We, first of all, government, whichever government comes to the power, should bring UMTA immediately. That will definitely reduce the carbon emission, and that will definitely help the people to travel very easily. And I don't know why, since
No,
last...
the question is, how well thought is the plan? For example, you just mentioned monorail. It's still struggling to take off. It is still struggling because it doesn't, the way it has been planned and the way it has been implemented, people don't want to use it.
Just give an
so
example.
that plan, correct.
My example is that mono, metro, coastal road, BST, harbour, western, central has to be interlinked.
Yes, but
If
my question to
anybody
you,
wants
Mr. Patel, is when you make this integrated plan, how much of planning, conversation with the experts goes into it?
It has
Or
to be
are you
done.
just in a hurry to bring out a plan and
I'm
you
not
design
in a hurry.
whatever you get
I'm
and then
not
you
in-
put it out there and
I'm-
then it's too late 5 years later to change it?
I'm not in hurry. Just I'm to make a point over here.
Yes.
What we are talking for 8 years now.
Correct.
10 years now, that UMTA has to be in place. Why not till today? Why not we are looking at the waterfront, water transportation system? If you want to, because the Mumbai is the financial city and you cannot say that people won't come to the Mumbai city. So for that reason, we have to plan things properly. And Mumbai Mahanagar Palika should be given the absolute authority. Different, Mr. Subodh Kumar, you are the commissioner of Mumbai. Now we have different agencies. Every agencies are looking at their project only. At their project only. So nobody is thinking of other what problem is going to Mumbai Municipal Corporation face to take out the sewerage from the city.
Do you want to add to that?
I want to talk of the 74th Amendment, which really devolves power to the level of the local study, so that the development is down up. I'll just come back to slightly different point, which is the Development Plan 2034. We as Nagar have worked very deeply with it, and there are many flaws in the sense that it allows for everything wrong to be done, which is resulting in what everybody's been talking about. Flooding. I mean, if you say that you can have underground parking below parks, then where does the water go? It doesn't permeate because you have a slab below it. Then you say that there is this whole RA issue. They have actually changed the zoning. It was a no development zone, which has become a SDZ.
Right.
The very fact that you do that, you lose an argument that you can't build a shed or you can't build the zoo or you can't build this, because now it is permitted by law.
Right. So
So-
that case is still in Supreme Court,
Yes.
actually, so the matter
And-
isn't done
No,
yet.
what I'm saying is there are many such issues with the development plan, which allows for all the wrong things. So I would request my lawmaker friends here to please have your experts study it, and you can reverse some of those. It is in your hands.
Okay, so two aspects. One, do we do enough conversation with the citizens and the experts before we make these plans? Why don't we factor in the people who are actually going to be impacted by it? Do you want to start? Yes, please go ahead.
Again, I said when I opened my argument, I did say that we are free to change the law and rule also. I never said that. But in today's system, we have the democratic system where the representation by election is there. When you do vote,
I'm not sure if you're aware, Mr. Shelar,
allow me to complete.
there is a state
See,
in
there is
India.
a problem.
There is a state
problem.
in India
So
called
there is a
Kerala.
problem. The viewers get the only view. Let
no.
me complete. You have a sub question. Let me complete. I am only citing the today's system. I am not saying we need not to change the system.
I'm trying to point out a system that exists in this country, in a state called Kerala, which allows ward level committees in every municipal corporation
coming to that.
vote on decisions.
I am coming to that.
Yeah?
I am coming to that
Yeah.
point also. I am only citing you today's situation. If you are elected the member of parliament, he has to communicate with the voters and he has to present before the parliament. If you elected the MLA, the presumption is that he should communicate with the voters and he should represent on these state issues in the assembly. You represent the same way to the corporation. What just now Naina mentioned is the fact. The Nagar Raj bill, what says, she has rightly said, it has gone up to the area Sabha, the local level 2-3 booths coming together, and that becomes area Sabha. That has not happened. We need to have that. I am in full support of that. And therefore, what you and me are trying to say is that, to summarize it, let's have an area Sabha, which is a part of Nagar Raj bill.
Will you put it in your
BJP
manifesto?
supports for it.
Will you put it in your manifesto?
Of course, we are putting it.
So we are getting some constructive points
constructive,
added
yes.
into the manifesto.
You know that we have debated about it.
We've spent a lot of our conversation, far too much time on topic number one. If I may just move on, because we have two more issues to address before we wrap this up. Let's talk about the other very core issue, especially to a city like Mumbai. You know, it's different for some of the other metro cities, but open spaces is a privilege that we all crave for in a city like Mumbai. Tasneem, do you want to go ahead and lay the ground on why that should feature in everybody's manifesto?
Well, let me just talk about cultural infrastructure before I talk about open spaces. Mumbai has amazing cultural infrastructure, okay? Amazing cultural assets, not cultural infrastructure. And what we need is to enable these assets, to bring them out to the citizens. So what has happened is a lot of our museums are being run by administrators who do not know what it takes to bring in citizens, to bring in audiences. Festivals like Kala Ghoda, etc., which happen, there is a lot of issues, you know, with the municipal corporation, with the state government. They are not able to go forward. There are many hurdles that they have to cross before they can do something with it. So I also just want to say that, you know, we've talked of transportation, we've talked of housing, health. These are, after that, what do citizens want? What makes a city livable? And as you know, The Economist has downgraded Mumbai from its previous ranking to, I don't know, 45th or something, which is by 3 notches, because one of the reasons was cultural infrastructure. So what can we do as, I'd like to ask our cultural representative, our political representatives, what can they do to empower and enable this making this possible for the citizens? One is to have experts, and two is also that there's a lot of fantastic heritage that we have.
Right.
And that heritage is slowly being knocked down. We have 2 World Heritage sites. One is, of course, the whole fort area is a World Heritage area, and then we have CST. And the citizens are constantly battling to try to protect these areas.
Okay, so let's take it point by point. And so we'll come to open spaces in just a bit. But since you've raised the aspect of cultural identity and cultural activities and the revival of the culture, does it just come down to that one thing, by the way, that I found common in everybody's manifesto from 2014 was the Shivaji Memorial. And all parties promised us that. But beyond that, what is it that you have on agenda to address what our citizens are saying? Mr. Shivali, do you want to start?
हेरिटेज से रिलेटेड ऑलरेडी मुंबई म्यूनसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन ने हेरिटेज वॉकवे बनाया हुआ है सिटी में ए वार्ड में एंड हेरिटेज स्ट्रक्चर को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए म्यूनसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन के थ्रू सेपरेट एक डीएमसी भी अपॉइंट किया है एंड सेपरेट विंग भी है तो म्यूनसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन एंड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के हेल्प से इवन मुंबई में 6 फोर्ट भी है वर्ली शिवरी सैन कोलीवाड़ा माहिम उनको प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए भी आर्कोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट एंड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट एंड सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के थ्रू हम लोग ने एक नया प्रोजेक्ट ये करे एंड लास्ट 5 years बैक एक कंसल्टेंट अपॉइंट किया था मुंबई से रिलेटेड तो कंसल्टेंट के रिपोर्ट इंप्लीमेंट करने का भी म्यूनसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन का प्रयास रहेगा
नहीं बट जैसे एग्जांपल आप लीजिए जो वो कह रही हैं कि जो एक्टिविटीज होनी चाहिए इवेंट्स होने चाहिए काला घोड़ा फेस्टिवल करने के लिए मुश्किल होती है
वो कंसल्टेंट ने जो रिपोर्ट दिया था वही उसमें इंक्लूड है suburbs, western suburbs and eastern suburbs and city से related जितने भी काला घोड़ा festivals है, उसका event से लेके कैसा management रहेगा, corporation and state government की involvement क्या रहेगी, वो पूरा report corporation को submit हुआ है, तो corporation का next budget में plan है वो implementation करने का पूरा.
So I want to say that citizens have to be involved in this because, you know, administrators can't just say we are going to do it. You have to bring the experts on board. So for example, the Mumbai Heritage Committee have very few experts. There are one or two experts. They are mostly builders on the Mumbai Heritage Committee. So
That's
what
a very
happens,
concerning fact.
Yes. So what happens is the heritage activists or the heritage experts get voted out. Okay, so that is the
Shivali.
National Gallery of Modern Art, for example, in Mumbai. It's a central institution, but Mr. Shivali is now an MP, is being run by an administrator, not by an expert. So we need to be looking at all these issues and looking at how do we bring the experts? How do we have a conversation with the citizens? So it's not, as Rahul said before, it's not about us versus them, that we are working together to make this an amazing city.
I think, Tasneem, you're talking about reviving the spirit of the city.
Yeah.
The city has a body which you have to save by looking after the environment. But what's happening to the mind and spirit of our city? Everything that we had that helped this to become a cultural center, diverse cultures, promoting different communities and their cultures, different arts like performance arts, music, theater, everything has a lid put on it. In fact, to segue into open spaces, you should allow open spaces to be used for cultural activities.
Absolutely. That's a very important area.
Okay, so yes, Amin Patel, then you, and then Ashish Shala, please respond to this.
I agree that open spaces should be given for utilization of the cultural activity. In fact, culture, what I mean by cultural revival is not only this one Kalagoda festival will solve the Mumbai problem, and Kalagoda festival is we have one or two more also. But when you are talking of the cultural with spirit and the mind, for example, Kumbharwada. Why it was called Kumbharwada? Now there is a plastic ban. So Kumbharwada, the economy is linked with the culture. Food, small handicraft, that it has been vanished from Mumbai.
That's absolutely correct.
What Mumbai was known for it has been absolutely vanished from Mumbai because of the urbanization taking in such a big way.
Exactly.
So we are losing our culture, we are losing our economy. This all cultural people are working in malls or somewhere, and it's going out.
And
so for that kind of thing, definitely I am taking up this issue that Mumbai Mahanagarpalika should allot money for this thing. There is not a single rupee budgeted in Mumbai Municipal Corporation for the cultural revival. And nobody has talked on this issue.
I run the Bhaudadi Lad Museum, which
I know
has
how
been
much
struggling.
you are struggling for that.
We have not been given funds for the last 5 years from the municipal corporation.
Shivale,
all the money
you should
that
look
we
on this.
raise, all the money we raise.
Yes,
we
and I'm
raise
actually reading, I take your point, and I'm actually reading from Shiv Sena's manifesto from last time, and you had a lot on the list, apart from, of course, the Shivaji Maharaj statue and the Balasaheb Thackeray statue. You also spoke about giving Marathi the status of original language, constructing Marathi bhavans in Mumbai, in having Marathi Bhasha Bhavan in every revenue department, libraries, increasing the payments and salaries of employees in these libraries, empowering and giving them more funds. But it comes down to the same fact that funds are not being given. Mr. Shelar, what is the solution to this?
Let me answer it at the fullest for the fact. What Tasneem said is a fact. What is missing is that in all the agencies, there is I think, a cell or office of heritage protection also. It has to be connected with each other. Like railway. Railway has a heritage protection wing. BMC has. UD department have. MMRD also have the same thing because I worked with them. So these 4 different departments are not in conformity with each other, one. So that needs to be. Second, yes, fund needs to be allotted for the same. Third, the citizen movement is a great movement which is helping us to bring back the points. The heritage may not be only of CST. The Bandra station is also a heritage station. There may be many more. There may be many more. So what I'm trying to prove is that there needs to be interconnected with the all agencies, A, and budget should be there. 2, when we talk about spirit, we should not forget the Ganeshotsav of this Mumbai is also spirit. But when that comes, the court says that you should not do it. Then when the Dandiya or Garba comes, the ex-judge will pass an order saying that, no, after this hour you should not work. Maybe, and culture and sports, I'm adding a sports to it also. In Wankhede also, if you'll have an IPL match, you will say after 9:30, the same activist would say you should not make a noise. But the same goes to Hyderabad, it can be there till 12 o'clock. So the spirit needs to be defined. The spirit of elitist or spirit of everybody.
So let me ask, any one of you wants to take that up and say, what is the spirit you're talking about?
The spirit is not what the court is saying you have to kill.
Of course.
They are, no,
After
one
10
moment,
o'clock,
one
or
moment,
rather,
Mr.
if you
Shelar,
say,
Mr.
if you say for Dahi
but
Andi,
Mr.
you are not
Shelar,
allowed to
So
come
you're
on
saying
road.
after
It
10
may not be a
p.m. if you
spirit.
don't allow loud
That's
music,
a
you're
Mumbai
killing the
spirit.
spirit?
No,
Dandiya
Mr.
is a
Shelar,
Or
Mumbai
if
spirit.
you're not letting us watch a
Govinda
live
is Mumbai
IPL
spirit.
match,
Ganeshotsav
when there
is
is no
Mumbai
money,
spirit.
then there is no
Only
spirit.
Kala Ghoda is not a Mumbai spirit.
Okay.
There
Mr.
will be
Shelar,
many more
Mr.
spirits.
Shelar, let me
We
finish.
cannot
We're not
overlook
talking
that.
about
Shelar,
timing.
okay.
We're not talking
Mr.
about
Shelar,
timing.
finish.
One at a time.
Kala
One
Ghoda.
at a time. One at
Even
a
for
time.
the Kala Ghoda, there is a problem.
Okay,
Even
Mayor
to have
first
the
and
Kala
then
Ghoda in the
Mr. Rahul
garden is a
Qadri.
problem.
Yes.
Mr. Shelar,
So let's talk about
no,
everything.
no, Mr. Shelar. Mr. Shelar, you've taken the conversation on a wrong tangent.
Absolutely
One
wrong.
moment. You
If I
are
don't
told,
support
no,
you, doesn't
Mr.
mean I'm
Shelar, no,
wrong.
no. Let me complete. What
All
the
biased.
court says is you can't
All
violate.
biased.
No, you can't violate rules which are in place or laws in place about noise pollution. But Mr. Shelar, one moment.
There is a
Mr. Shelar,
law
do let me
that
finish.
on the playground,
Mr. Shelar,
you
please
are not
let me
allowed to have a
finish.
cultural activity.
Mr.
That is a
Shelar,
law.
please
How
let
can
me
you ask
finish.
that?
Please let me finish. But I have a question for you. From what you say, am I to understand that the spirit of our culture in this city, the great spirit of our culture in this city, can only be kept alive if we make a noise past the quiet hours? I don't think so. I think the spirit of Mumbai, encompassed in so many communities
I
and
have
so
not
many
said about the
activities,
noise pollution.
does not
I said
need. No,
if,
Mr. Shelar,
if one
do let
band
me
can
finish.
give out the noise,
Please
it's
let me
welcome.
finish.
If
Mr.
Ganpati
Shelar,
brings a voice,
no, Mr.
it is not
Shelar,
welcome.
not
Let's
at
not have
all,
that
Mr.
argument.
Okay,
Shelar.
Let's
one
not have
minute,
that
one minute.
argument.
That is a
May I-
If
may I-
what I'm
may I
trying to
just
say,
bring in a
the law
lighter
has to be
moment
followed.
here?
In the
Which is
playground
also
also,
a
what should
serious
be allowed,
issue.
it has been law.
By the way,
When a
Mr. Shelar,
playground.
by that logic, you should also be very angry with the civic body which came out with a circular this time which said
Yes.
more than
I
20
am-
people should not dance on the bridges
Of
because the
course,
bridge will
yes.
fall.
Of course, yes.
So please, during Ganesh
I am
Mahotsav,
with you.
don't dance in
I
large
am with
groups
you on that.
during
That's-
your Visarjan
I am with you on that.
because the bridge will fall.
But
I am-
Tanvi,
Please be
Tanvi,
very upset
no,
with the
that's
civic
another
body.
issue.
Tanvi,
Bridge is a
that
dilapidated.
speaks to the
We
abysmal
cannot have the same
condition of the
comparison.
Speaks to the abysmal
infrastructure.
condition
We
of
are
the
for
infrastructure.
we are against the noise pollution,
Okay.
but the elitist spirit is the spirit, and common man spirit is not a spirit. That is not acceptable.
No, sir, I
all
don't
right.
think we should
Let's-
should not
okay,
be
okay.
divided
I don't
into
think
all.
we need to
Yeah,
confuse noise
I am not
with spirit.
confusing. I am talking about
Rahul
spirit.
Qadri, please, yes.
When
Let's not
culture is
confuse
discussed,
noise.
when I'm saying I have not
And
brought the
let's-
noise
when we are
issue,
talking about
I'm saying
culture-
court has brought it. I am talking
culture,
about
Mr. Shelar.
even I have supported the Bahudajila the most, and I'm agreeable today also. I have supported the open space the most. What Naina is aware about. That doesn't mean that this discussion should be remained. And my point is that the way you will react, it will also emboss the more. I'm only trying to say, not activist. I said the court. I just give you an answer. If IPL match goes in Wankhede, it needs to be closed down at 10. But the same doesn't happen to the Bangalore. Why? Is not the citizen staying there? That's what I'm trying to say. That's the only point. My point is that what you said, the beaches. Let's accept the beaches, use the beaches. Now Girgaon Chowpatty will come. No, there is a ban for having any activity. But if you can go to Marve Beach, there is no law. Anybody can do anything.
Sir, I want
Mr.
Let's
Shelar,
have one law for everything.
No, Mr.
That's my
Shelar,
submission.
I don't think you're right.
Court, in this case, court has done. In this case, my dear sir, Girgaon, you can accept that.
But-
Court has made the law.
All you lawmakers have made the law.
Sir, court has passed the order. Even they are made to make a law.
Okay. So one more important point that we need
I
to
just
cover.
want to make
Tanvi,
one point
one
about
very
what
important
Mr.
point.
Shelar
Hold
said.
on, one minute, ladies.
Just
One minute.
Give me one. Give me one.
We also need to decide if we
Yeah,
want to
you-
go to the
yeah.
third conversation point or not, because this will go on for a while
No, I
otherwise.
just want
And
to say the
Mr.
spirit
Shelar,
of
you
Mumbai.
spoke about us stopping the court, stopping, say, noise at Ganpati, etc. Don't forget, the court also stopped Rang Bhavan dead because they said the noise can't. Right.
Yeah, accept
so
it.
it is very equitable. The justice has been blind. There has been no elitism there.
Agree.
It has been blind.
I am
so
only
that
trying to bring the
accusation
point
is wrong.
that Ganeshotsav, Navratra
right,
Utsav
ladies,
is the
may I-
spirit
may
of
I- may I
Mumbai.
just
Why are you
insist?
not standing with
I
that?
think we
Can
need
you
to
please
move on
stand
to
for
the
a
third
Gurudao?
conversation.
You stand for a
It's very
Ganeshotsav
essential.
also.
No. I am going to draw the line here now. We really need to move on to the third point. Otherwise, we will not be able to. Please don't take it personally. The elite who says the mass conversation will not come to an end here. We will not end that debate here.
There should be no debate.
There is not a
About
debate.
open spaces,
And that's not the debate.
Yes,
there.
it's
Now,
not elite.
now may I go across to Mr.
It's
Subodh
about
Kumar and
excellence.
ask
It's
this
not
question,
about
Mr. Subodh
elitism.
Kumar. 1 minute, please. Please, let's move on. Let's move on, yes. Mr. Subodh Kumar, the third aspect has been about open spaces. For open spaces, many times what the citizens believe, and they call us during our debates and, conversations, and they say that, it's become a land grabbing exercise. That you're giving away this land and somebody else is building this fancy club and it's not even open to most people. Is there a policy problem here?
See, I should like to put in the perspective. Open spaces, you will hear different figures actually. Some will say it's half meter per person in Mumbai. Somebody says 1 meter, 1 square meter. Somebody will say 4 square meter. Sometimes they'll claim 10 square meter per person. Why it is so? Let me explain. What is important in open spaces is what is accessible to the common man for usage. So all those clubs which you are talking about, they are not open to the common man, I mean. So what is open to the common man? RG, PG, and also playgrounds. The total area per DP is only 12.5 square kilometers. 12.5, that means 1,250 hectares. But if you see how much is accessible by the public, it's only 47%. That is only 600 hectares. As against that, 450 hectares reservation of RG, PG and playground, we have put on the lands which are occupied by slums, encumbered land. So that is not available to anybody else. What perhaps we need to ask the political parties, their commitment, that they will double this area of 600 to 1200 actually, which is available to the common people.
Available to the common people being the operative part.
Correct.
Yes.
When you talk about 4 square meter per person, that is you include entire forest area of, if you take forest area, that is 3.5 square meter per person. But it doesn't help everybody because it's in one corner of the city. If you take beaches also, take swimming pools, take these clubs, take these everything, somebody say 10 or take all the hills. And hill, I can't use them actually, hills. So that becomes 10 square meter. So we keep on confusing people by saying that there's so much of open space in Mumbai. Today it is only 0.8 or 0.9 square meter per person. That is on theory. And what is accessible is less than half a meter per person. We need to have a commitment from all the parties sitting here. Will they double that area? They matter. We all know what we want, but we don't know how to get it.
Right.
Yeah.
This 450 meter which you are talking about, 456 hectare, which is under slums, every DP, we put it under open space, we never acquire them. We leave it now to either accommodation reservation, 70-30 rule, or wait for the SRA to. SRA will take a century to do that actually. What needs to be done? Some innovative ideas. I can give one idea. You acquire land anywhere in the world, TDR was created for acquiring those things to protect environment and open spaces, unlike in Mumbai. So you should say, if I acquire this land is encumbered, if it's not encumbered, for taking it, you double the TDR. TDR rate is not less than half of the property rate. If it is encumbered by slums, I will also give them some more TDR, maybe 50% of that, I mean, so that those people can be tempted to leave from there and you get their open space for the common good.
Sir, nobody in Mumbai is going to leave that place.
all fancy idea.
You are the municipal commissioner, sir.
Let
How
me-
can you give this kind of
Can-
suggestion
can-
on national
can-
TV?
can I-
Absolutely,
can-
Absolutely,
can I-
your thing
but
is
it's-
not going to
it's
be
all,
taken.
I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
all on the
sorry.
paper.
I'm
We have to
sorry.
come with
One
a
after
I'm sorry.
the other,
I'm
one
sorry.
after the other.
Can I
I'm sorry.
Okay, your
I'm
point
sorry,
has been
Mr.
taken. Let them respond to what you're saying.
Mr.
Yeah.
Subodh Kumar, let me
Sir, you are the
ask a
municipal
simple
commissioner
question
of Mumbai.
to Subodh Kumar. in his commissioner's period, how much he has acquired. So let's not talk about...
You just give this figure.
Let me understand.
And let me tell you very
Sir,
frankly...
you were commissioner at that time. You have not acquired any single piece of land.
You allow me to finish first, then
No,
react.
allow us to
one
say,
minute.
because the
Mr.
time is running.
Subhakumar, please do finish, but if you will...
Allow me to finish.
Yes, wrap it up
You are
quickly, then they
allowing
can
them to
respond.
finish, not to us.
I am only saying.
I am biased towards the voter.
I am only
We
saying.
are also biased to a voter. We are only for voters.
Yes.
We are not biased. We are only for voters.
I am only saying, if I am staying somewhere, if you adequately compensate me more than what I will get from that property later, and if I can move few kilometers and acquire something of my own, from that money
No,
which
sir.
you give-
No,
One-
sir.
one
We are
minute,
the
sir.
people
One
representative.
minute.
We know somebody living
Okay,
for
your
a
point
couple of
is
years
if you give
is
them better
not going to
compensation,
leave
there
that
is a
area.
possibility. Okay.
have a, you know,
Yes.
something
And
else.
you are saying that's not a
That
practical
is-
solution.
No, we know why people are living in old dilapidated building and dying every day because they don't want to leave the area
Yes.
from where they are staying for hundreds of years.
I think it's-
I'll just add a spice.
It's not only that. It's the hope of getting something very
No,
good.
no, no,
a
sir, no,
person or
sir.
a
They
son.
know it.
Just
Just don't
one at a time,
interrupt.
Just Subhakumar ji, just hold it.
On
Just hold
redevelopment, they
it.
want to get a flat.
Yes,
Hold
yes.
it.
One
No,
at a
sir,
time.
you are
One at
wrong,
a time,
you are
one
wrong.
at a time.
Only
Okay,
saying,
Ashish
forget-
Shelar. Ashish
forget.
Shelar. Yeah.
Removing a person from his house from one place to another place. I am asking, just remove one bus stop from one place to another place.
Not possible.
It
Not
is
absolutely
possible.
not
Forget
possible.
that. Second, removing
I'm
a
not talking
community
about-
dustbin from one place to another place, it's agitation. Forget about the person.
I'm not talking
What are we
about.
talking?
Mr. Subodh Kumar.
I'm not talking about
Mr. Subodh
forcible
Kumar, I would
All
like
right,
to
all
tell
right.
one
Let me
thing.
get some more voices.
Sitting in-
Let me get
no, no,
some more voices.
I'm not
Vaibhav,
talking about
yes.
forcible
Vaibhav
removal.
and I'm coming to
I
you.
would just want to say
I'm
something.
not saying
What, so
forcible
I want to say something. I mean, bhai, one
no
moment.
problem. No, I'll come on.
Since this is an assembly election, I want to bring back a warning from the past and not from the far into the past. The Vilasrao Deshmukh government, if I'm not mistaken, allowed the mill land to go away, which the city would have got as open spaces.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And on the other hand, we gave away open spaces to which the citizens should have got, and now we are asking citizens to vacate their homes for it. But I want to ask each one of them, what is your suggestion? How can we get open spaces back?
Correct.
Can we get some open
Yes.
spaces back?
Yes.
You know, for instance,
It is only with the acquisition. There are reserves in the DP, and we have to acquire that property. That is the one.
But is there political will to do it?
Yes.
Our gardens,
not?
our parks, our roads, our beaches, our forts. You talk about culture. Even the forts in Bombay are occupied by slums. So do you have the will, political will?
See, I'll tell you, my party's view is very simple. Unless you have a public-private partnership, you can't do it. Very simple as that. In PP model, even the redevelopment comes, slum redevelopment comes, even the funds from the private party also comes, and then only it is possible. Otherwise, these are the policies on the paper. Even, I must tell you again, my friends will react on the same. The same NGOs brought the stay from the High Court on the plot of the slum redevelopment where the reservation of open spaces was there. Yes. And today the situation is that slums are not going, redevelopment is not happening, and open spaces are not coming. All this is stuck. So, viable solutions where the exchequer's money should not go. B, they should also get the houses where they will afford it and they will accept it. C, we should get some of the open spaces. And 4, the citizens should get the access. That is a viable solution. One-side thinking or approach, unfortunately, will not give the result.
Okay, so there has to be a comprehensive solution to this. I think everybody agrees that this is a problem.
Yes.
And perhaps the solution cannot be asking
I think-
people to move out of their homes to create spaces when your policy...
It won't be possible.
singular
We won't
policy
be
has
able to
been
do for
wrong so
another
far.
100 years.
I'm completely out of time, but I think a lot of this conversation can be taken offline as well. Thank you so much to our citizens. Thank you so much to our politicians
Thank you
who
so
joined
much.
us. Thank you so much for joining us.